What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and why I believe there is going to be a dip coming very soon for Tesla. I'm going to talk about why I believe that we are in a bull trap right now, why I see us dropping relatively soon, what technical indicators are suggesting that. I'm also going to talk about what's going on with the overall stock market and what you should be anticipating tomorrow as we have CPI data coming out, and this is going to be huge for the market and the future of the Fed's policies. I'm also going to talk about a very bullish catalyst for the future of Tesla as we have a date for the delivery starting in Germany. That's going to be very awesome. Before I end the video with some tweets from Elon Musk himself that make me even more excited. Now, before I get into any more details, before I talk about what's going on with Tesla, I do have to mention some very important things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please do not take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you do send for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're not only going to qualify for up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500, but you're also going to get a free Neo share if you check out the offer down below. So with that out of the way, guys, let's get on with the video and talk about what's going on. So looking at the entire market, we are seeing green left and right. We saw the IWM in the green. Neo was up over 12%, which I think was pretty insane. But here's the thing. GME was in the green, the SPY was in the green. I mean, the NASDAQ was also green too. So we saw green all over the place after all the red that we saw. But remember, guys, I told you guys in my previous video that I did think Tesla would be green today, but we are going to be hit by resistance in the $850 range. The true resistance is a little bit higher than that, but it was kind of close. However, now that we're hit by this high resistance, it's going to be a little bit more tricky for us to continue with this big move to the upside. But the volume of Tesla for today is kind of drying up, which is an indicator that we may start to drop going into the next few days. We also have a gap that formed on the 5-minute candles. And I know gaps typically aren't supposed to be looked at in this manner, but they generally for Tesla are going to actually work out that way. So I'm going to show you in a second, guys. Let's just look at some data real quick. So here's the first thing. Currently, the fear and greed index is a little bit better compared to yesterday, but it still is pretty bad. The market is still extremely fearful. The fear has not entirely dissipated yet. This is due to the Ukraine situation. It's also due to some fear involving CPI data because tomorrow is the big day. Now, let's look at what some analysts are basically trying to say. Bloomberg economists are basically dropping an inflation bomb. They're talking about the fact that they expect an 8% inflation, CPI data to come out year over year. That's going to be absolutely insane. They do think it could reach even 9% very soon. That's crazy, guys. They're saying if energy prices keep going up, CPI could rise to above 10%. Now, the thing you have to remember is that, look, CPI isn't the perfect measure of inflation. I know that that's generally or typically used. It's accepted that way, but this is what the data uses. This is what many analysts and investors believe is a good representative of inflation, which is why the belief that's associated with it is going to affect the market, even though it's not the perfect measure, because CPI doesn't account for some things such as increases in many commodities or even increases in housing or some other pieces of data like that, right? But it still is what people use, which is why it's very important. Now, here's another big thing, and this is actually the estimates we have from many, many big banks and big companies. Basically, we can see JP Morgan is estimating 8%, Morgan Stanley is saying 8%, Barclays is saying 7.9%. I mean, we really do not want it to be that high whatsoever. That's pretty insane. And the reason why this is crazy is because of the fact that we're seeing energy prices starting to take that hit. They're starting to go up and up and up. And that is an indicator that right now, this is just the beginning of some, crazy things that are coming out. So what this means is that the Fed, the US Federal Reserve, is going to have the FOMC meeting next week, and they are going to adjust their policies based on this number. Now, they do seem pretty set with a 25 basis point hike, but I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy does end up happening. But like I said, guys, I don't necessarily think Powell is going to do anything too unpredictable because of the fact that there is a war going on. It's very, unpredictable. But this data in itself is going to affect the market tomorrow because I think it's going to be reported around opening or before opening. I'm not 100% sure, but sometime tomorrow, right? Early tomorrow, it's going to be reported. And if it's really bad, which it most likely is not going to be too good, it might be slightly above 8% in my opinion, that is probably going to lead to a drop either on Thursday or Friday, right? Going into the next few days. Now, I don't truly know exactly when the drop for Tesla is going to start, but I do know it's going to come very soon. perhaps sometime this week, maybe early next week, but within the next few days, I do see us dropping. I'm going to show you guys exactly why. Now, I'm very bullish. Don't forget that. I'm very, very bullish for the future. I see this thing going to many trillions, but short term, I do see us dropping. And here's why. So, right now, Tesla is kind of like, think about a rocket that's trying to leave our atmosphere. The higher you go, as you hit certain layers, it's going to be harder for you to leave the atmosphere because you're hit by resistance. Tesla's getting hit by these levels of resistance too. Now, it does have some room to maybe go a little bit higher. We could go to the 860s, maybe a little bit higher, but I do expect us to start dropping. And here's one of the main reasons why. If we zoom into the 5-minute candles, I'm going to bring that up real quick. I'm going to start off with the 1-day chart, then the 5-minute candles. There is a gap that formed. If I could find it, I'm so blind right now, I have a hard time seeing. But anyways, there's actually a big gap somewhere here. If I could find it, it's right here. There it is. So this massive gap is right here. Do you guys see it? Right over here. These candles are not connected. Now, typically, for other stocks, when you look at gaps, you use like 2-hour, 4-hour, 1-day charts to really see them because there's like low volume. If you looked at volume nodes, it would be very low. And that's a very good place for the price action to go to. But what's weird about Tesla, it's a special stock because you could even use the 5-minute charts to see some of these gaps. Now, gaps don't always have to be filled. You have to remember that if you see a gap in the $200 range, 150, it does not mean we're going there. They don't always have to be filled. But when it's close to the current share price, and if it happens over like a day or two, it's very probable, very, very likely it's going to have to get filled, right? It's extremely likely, actually. And one of the ways we could actually determine that is by using the past. The past is something that can help us understand the future. Like, for instance, there was a gap on the 7th of March. It got filled immediately after, right? And then if you go back again, all the way back, there's another one right here from the 5-minute candles. There's a gap right here at around 8:38. It got filled immediately after. So this is just one indicator you could use when looking at Tesla's share price, but it's not always going to be perfect. So I just want to put that out there. But that's just an indicator that's suggesting that we're going to drop. There are other indicators I could use to give us more and more compelling evidence. So the volume, I would have to use I'd have to look at the chart like this. I'm going to use daily candles. I know it's a little bit hard to see the numbers, they're so small, but the volume was really dry. Because when we really run up hard, we typically see very high volume. That's an indicator that it's going to dry up a little bit and we may see a reversal from there. So I'm going to actually use other indicators to show you guys this. So this is kind of like a trap. And the reason I say that is they're trying to make it look like an inverse head and shoulder right here. And it kind of looks like that, but I don't see it necessarily causing us to run to the upside. I do see a little bit of upside. We could run maybe a little bit more, but we are going to drop, right, to fill that gap. So where are we going to drop to, right? I think that's the one thing I forgot to mention. When it comes to the drop, I see us dropping to, let's see, where this gap is, all the way down here, 820, what is that? 828. We could go as low as 823 again. So I do see us dipping there. I also think many indicators are showing that because right now we got this crossover from the 1348 EMA, right? That's typically used. That's when we started running up. But what's happening is they are spread out, but they're starting to curl. So we're getting hit by high resistance. And this is an indicator that we were probably going to see another flip in the future and we're going to start dropping. So I'm going to use the MACD and RSI just real quick to show you guys this because I think this actually encompasses this a little bit better. Because if you use 2-hour candles, right, you're zooming out of the chart, you're going to look at it from a different perspective. This is what the chart looks like on the 2 hours. So the overall trend, you guys can see it's starting to pick up, but it's starting to kind of curl a little bit. Starting to curl. So even though RSI is high, this is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be a catalyst that's going to push the market down. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's going to be CPI, probably is going to be that. So going into the future, I anticipate that Tesla's going to run up tomorrow, maybe a little bit to the 860s. Then it might start to retrace a little bit. And then by maybe Friday, maybe by next Monday, it's going to keep dropping and we're going to see it back in the 820s. But once we get there, we're going to get a bounce. most likely in the 820s. It could go a little bit lower, maybe to the 810s, but I see another bounce, and we're going to run right back up to close to where we are right now. So I'm just trying to warn you guys, that's what I think is going to happen, but I could be wrong because maybe we're going to keep running up for another day or two before we start to drop. That's something I'm not 100% sure of right now because it's dependent on the data that's coming out. I'm not some fortune teller that knows exactly what the numbers are going to show. I could give you a better estimate in real time. It's just that we're not there yet, but that is what I want you guys to be well aware of. I most likely think we're going to drop hard very, very soon in the next, I don't know, couple of days. I do see a drop. It's not going to be extremely hard. It's probably going to be a maybe like $30 or $40 drop. I just want to let you guys know that. Anyways, even though that's what these indicators are suggesting, don't be scared. Don't be afraid because this company is still a monster. It's an absolute monster. And there are still many, many bullish catalysts coming out that are going to push this share price up going into the future. So look at the 5-year chart. Always remember, 5 years ago, we were trading in, even if you account for the changes, we would be in the 10s, the 20s, the 30s. We're doing very well, and we're still going to do even better for the long term future. So I've not lost any faith, guys. I'm still very bullish, and there are other bullish pieces of news coming out. Look at this right here. It has been confirmed by Tesla that deliveries of the German built Model Ys are starting on the 22nd of March. At least that's the estimate, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Delivery day is coming. That's going to be huge, guys. They're really, really showing themselves off in Germany and all over Europe. And this is going to be very bullish news. Very bullish news for the long term future. For the next upcoming months, the next year, it's going to be insane. So, this is very exciting news. It may not affect us too much for the short term, perhaps not given the current market conditions. There is still a lot of uncertainty about what's going on in Ukraine. But for the long term, I'm still extremely bullish. Just as Elon Musk is reminding us, there are lots of job openings coming out in Germany for the new Gigafactory. I'm still very pumped for it, and I can't wait for what the future holds. Anyways, guys, I thank you all for listening. Uh, like I said before, we could maybe run up a little bit more from where we are right now. We're very close to the next level of resistance, and I do see a rejection coming. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, maybe in the next upcoming days, and we are probably most likely going to be dropping. So I want to prepare you guys for that. I've not lost any faith in the company, though. I'm still very bullish. I'm still holding on. I'm not giving up. And I know the large majority of investors are not giving up either. Tesla to the moon. Super bullish future, guys. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the future. And peace out.